So we had participants from 10 different countries, and we were in total 13 participants.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty
Diverse group.
very diverse
Yeah.
group. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
I'm Vijaya. I'm born and brought up in New Delhi and I live in Dubai. I'm here based on the experience of my son who visited the center 2 months ago, and he was so taken aback in a nice way with all his experiences. He wanted me and my husband to come over, and I decided to surely come and explore the unknown. This is my first experience with ayahuasca, and this whole activity from morning to evening, starting with yoga, and then the special nutrition that we have, and just being with nature in this beautiful place, and realizing that there is a life that is much more beautiful than this structured way of living, and I've been in the corporate world for 35 years. So for me, this is like absolute unlearning. Doing things without structure, at your pace, and not getting stressed. It was an amazing experience, and I loved every moment of it.
When your son went back home after the retreat, did you notice changes on him?
Yes.
For example?
He was much more calmer than he was before. He was eating very consciously because he loves food, and this time I saw he was very sensible, if I could put it that way. He was choosing what he wanted to eat, and he was guiding us. I mean, stop this tea business. I'm a tea drinker. I was a tea drinker. I stopped. And he is one of the reasons. He's like, this is doing harm to you. Stop the sugar. And I think after coming here and experiencing the food, and the fact that I did not have any withdrawal syndromes from tea, it was thanks to him. So he's become much more aware of his actions. And food is the easiest example, because when someone is very fond of it, to be cautious and to be very careful was an interesting change that I saw. And he's calmer and more centered. That's how I see him.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm from the U.S. Originally from Florida, long time in L.A. Recently moved to North Carolina. I came here for some healing, and the ayahuasca provided.
What do you do in the States?
I'm an actor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's why you are familiar to me.
Oh, good. It's good to be familiar, and now we're more familiar.
Yeah.
We're like family.
Yes, I'm Sandra. I'm from Germany originally. I live in Dubai now, and I have done ayahuasca 3 years ago, but in Peru. It was in another center, and I got a lot of insights and a lot of healing. And I knew when I left the center, I knew I want to do it again. And it took me 3 years, and I was researching other ayahuasca centers, and I read a lot about this center, and I saw pictures, and the pictures were so nice that I knew this is the center I want to go with. They convinced me, and really this place is even more beautiful than in the pictures. It's like paradise. So I'm very glad.
Now that you did both experiences, you don't need to say the name of the other center. You have the experience there and here. Can you compare?
Yes, so it was more, the other center was not as organized. There were not many rules. So even in the ceremony, they didn't tell us that we are, for example, here, we are not allowed to leave the room. You do your experience, and when it's over, then you can leave the room. And everybody was doing their trip. And in the other center, there was, after a while, there was a lot going on. People even went outside, then people were talking to each other. There was always something happening around, so it was not very quiet, and Yeah, it was too much happening around instead of being in your own experience. So I felt like this was much more professional.
And the diet?
The diet was also vegan food. The diet here, I'm not vegan, but this food is outstanding. Like, I love it. I love the food. It's amazing.
So you didn't miss the meat at all?
No. I could live like this.
Thank you.
So my name is Ziwar. My friends call me Z. I was born in Cairo, Egypt. I live in Dubai now. Why am I here? I'm here for healing. And I wanted to process a lot of traumas that I had, so this experience was the right experience for me. It was my first ayahuasca experience, so and it was definitely exceeded my expectations. So although my expectations were very high, this even exceeded it. So it's really nice to come here and think that you will be able to heal certain traumas, but you find out that you have other things that you didn't even think about, and actually be living here. Healing some of them and have a clear action plan on how to heal the other things that you want to work on. So I think that was great.
We had different workshops, no? The first one was regression to childhood, the second one was spirit releasement, and the third one was about our shadow.
Right.
So which one had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, I want to give a general comment about the workshops before a specific example, because the workshops are super helpful, because it sets you mentally, it is structured in the right way to help you somehow guide your ayahuasca journey into healing certain traumas that you had at a certain period on your life. So whether it is the childhood trauma or whether it is releasing habits or addictions that you have, I think the workshops help a lot in doing it that way, and that is actually one of the things that made me excited about coming here versus a lot of the other centers that I read reviews for, where you just come for the ayahuasca trip but you're not really sure what are you trying to heal. You've done some work maybe before you come, but it's all things you've done yourself. But here you are kind of guided on how to do it, right? So you get the workshop, you understand what the traumas are, you do the meditation, you find the trauma, you come to the ayahuasca trip and you're trying to work to release either that bad habit or that trauma that you have. So I think the workshops are invaluable to the overall experience versus just getting the ayahuasca tea, which is still healing, but not as healing as with the workshops.
Something very specific also, because it's not only to try to release the trauma. I teach specific techniques on how to rescue yourself from the loop of the trauma.
Right, 100%.
Because most of the people don't understand that once you have the trauma, it's forever.
Right.
Yeah.
You are in a loop,
Right.
and that part of you is in the unconscious, repeating again and again and again. And one day something outside in the reality triggers, and you overreact.
Right.
And then you say, what I did, what was this?
Right.
Because the trauma is intact,
Right.
it's there. So we have techniques to rescue yourself from that loop
Right.
and cut this repetition again, no?
100%.
So I used to talk about the repetition.
Right. And I think the difference between psychotherapy and or the workshop plus ayahuasca is that it pushes it like as if you've done 100 years of psychotherapy, right? So and I think that's the benefit of doing the workshop and the structure and how to go through it, but plus ayahuasca is like the best combination.
The workshops are very are designed to trick people, because I don't ask direct questions.
Right.
So, like for example, tell me what is your biggest trauma.
Yeah.
I don't ask that because even you don't know probably. You may know, you can imagine something, but probably there are a lot of things that you don't remember. And then you start to recover the memories, or when you can contact your inner child, you realize, wow, this was so bad when I was a child. So I need to trick people during the workshop, so without knowing you bring the information. If not, you will defend yourself.
And it's a great way to prepare before the ceremony, because we learn to connect deep within with ourselves and just learn to go in. And I think the biggest benefit I saw during the workshop was you see who you are. And you are not shy of sharing it with the group, because there is some form of trust, and how that comes, I don't know. I mean, people I've worked with 35 years, maybe I don't feel that level of trust that I developed in 8 years here,
Yeah.
8 days here.
Right.
It's just
Even
amazing.
less,
Yeah.
because in the first workshop, if the second day you are here,
Yeah.
everybody opened the heart
Yeah.
and said, what's this? And sometimes it's very strong. But you don't have problems to say. You are not ashamed.
Yeah. We didn't have to wear any mask.
Right.
I mean, nobody felt somebody's senior in age or somebody's so and so. We were just like children
Yes.
wanting to, know more about oneself. So it was beautiful.
Yeah. Everybody felt like children here.
So the most interesting thing for me about the workshops, there was a profound insight that you pointed out when we started, and you're filling out the questionnaire, and then every person goes through it, and they share their journey, their stories, and for me, we were specifically talking about childhood at this point, and I was defending my parents, like it's okay, and you stood up for me, for my 5-year-old
It's
self.
better if we give a little more
Okay.
information. We were
Okay.
talking about anger issues,
Yeah.
no? And you went back to your childhood,
Mm-hmm.
a moment, a particular moment,
Yeah.
where you, the child, were feeling angry or sad.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked you why you are not confronting your parents now that you are an adult, and you said because they didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
So I interpreted that you were not honoring the feelings of this child, that you didn't have the right to complain.
Right.
That's why you are so angry, because in that moment you were feeling sad, and you cannot complain because you were overprotecting your parents.
Yes.
And of course we are not here to judge your family, because we do what we can always, but we need to listen. What is happening with this child? Why he's sad?
Yeah.
He never expressed that sadness, so this sadness became anger.
Yes.
And now you feel angry and you don't know why. Where is this coming from?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I told you, why not you confront? No, they didn't do it on purpose. So you have to say, okay, tell me, feel honor this child.
So for me, anger came up. That's a big issue for me that I came down here to release, and it was very helpful in the workshop to have you guide me to the root of the problem, and it was just a thing that I had moved on with. I had just buried it and told myself it was okay. That's just my default mode, to be the protector. I have young kids. I want to protect them. And what I didn't realize and became aware of through the work that we did was that I didn't defend my own inner child, and he still had those wounds from many years ago. And so I was able to, through your guidance, able to see how I was defending my parents and making it okay when it really wasn't okay. And I needed to honor my 5-year-old self and learn self-love.
So you were overprotecting your parents instead of allow the child express the feelings.
I was protecting them over,
And the sadness became anger until
Yes.
today.
yes, which then became a reflection in my life that I wasn't conscious that it's actually coming from me. And now I have the awareness to choose something better.
You know that it's very common that in certain families there is not allowed to express sadness or to express anger. In many families, the child is sad and is crying and say, oh, take this chocolate. You are not hungry, you are sad. But it's so common, and then we grow overeating, but we are sad or we are angry because something. So now we have to honor our own inner child, because our parents did what they can. It's done. So we cannot keep waiting.
I think it's interesting when you told us that anything that we are doing like in other people is within us. because we think, this person is bad, or he's doing that thing wrong, and we don't think that it is our own issue that we have with that thing, then we project it on them. So for me, in my particular example, it was that I don't like lazy people, or I don't like people that are complain and don't take any action. And then when the question came, okay, what is one thing that you don't want to tell anybody and you're afraid to tell anybody, it was that I had suicidal thoughts. So then you provoked me and said, isn't this type of laziness and giving up instead of fighting for whatever issues you were fighting? And it is indeed very true, because deciding to give up and take your own life, is indeed a lazy thought. So what I did not like in other people was actually within me, and that was a very profound insight.
Very extreme.
Right.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's mainly what irritates us in others. Because it's not for you within, you say, oh yeah, that person is lazy. But when it's irritating you, it's
Right.
because it's yours.
Right.
Absolutely.